Okay, so that was a pain in the ass of technical misery to try and get this lousy. It's actually a great camera, but the system, my computer, is a complete chaotic, dysfunctional mess. Anyway, I wanted to start out this routine by standing up like a comic normally does, but I was too ensnared in getting this stupid thing to work. Anyhow, the first thing I wanted to say was people keep telling me lately, don't do the more universally related, maybe less universally related, social, political, intellectual stuff. Do experiences derived from your personal life. Um, like no comic ever tried that before. How innovative and original. But apart from that, the translation of that suggestion is we, unlike animals, are sadistic beings that love to hear your recitations of your unsurpassable situational, cruel, mentally obliterating hardships, medical problems, and interconnected, further compounding interpersonal backstabbing betrayals. Because let's face it, human beings are vicious. Animals are the superior species of beings. They don't do that. Did you ever, first of all, do you think that a laughing hyena really chuckles? And if it did, do you think that it would laugh uproariously at a distracted giraffe and being diverted intentionally, who had just hit its head on the underside of a massive, hard tree limb? No. The other reason for that is, other than being more harmonious than humans, is the giraffe would be fully capable of going over to the laughing hyena and kicking its ass. Does a baboon, on further, does a baboon laugh at a fellow baboon who just almost overshot in its haste a banana peel that it was trying to munch on to the point where it slipped, rolled over, and broke its ass? No, it doesn't happen. So I realized that it would have to be self-deprecating humor, and I've done that, and I don't like it, to operate comedically along these lines. So I decided to get into the really irresistible topic, given that we now have a new prisoner-elect. I mean, president-elect. And I can't even mention the man by name. It's too painful still. But a lot of people are wondering what happened. I mean, they're talking about the diversion of votes by the Green Party, libertarians. Hillary was unlikable as a total multiple criminal. And they shafted Bernie, who was the sure winner, and Trump has the support of a lot of crazy, frustrated and dull-witted white males. But here, let me break it down, albeit I warn you, you may want to leave the room, audience, because it's a very graphic image I employed to illustrate what happened in the election in very simple, short, and sweet terms. Here it is. You have a chance to leave. Okay. On Tuesday, November 8th, 2016, America picked up a loaded 9mm Beretta, levied it at its left temple, and pulled the trigger. And America was pronounced dead at the scene. Rest in peace, America. You know your country's really in a toilet when it elects a man who's so delusionally dense that he actually thinks that Mexicans, El Salvadorans, Guatemalans, and whatnot, what have you, whomever, are going to be deported by border security officials and INS, Border Patrol, and deputy sheriffs, 99.999% of whom are Hispanics, Guatemalans, Mexicans, and El Salvadorans who can't ever scale a wall that he's going to build. Hell no. Which documentaries invariably have shown that any self-respecting Mexican alone, let alone the help they would be teaming up with the other countries, citizens in Latin America, never failed to scale a wall like that in 22 and a half seconds. But he knows. And not to mention, in relation to which, most of the illegal entries into this country come by sea. It's like rafts and boats and planes, with falsified passports. Moron. But, this is really bad. As far as what caused this, Green Party people in states where it mattered and votes were siphoned off from Hillary Clinton, who would have otherwise won, as bad as she was, as dark and treacherous. People are justifying that and did before, during, and after the election. Well, I voted my conscience. I just want to ask these people, you libertarians and Green Party people, that's fine to vote your conscience, but how do you reconcile it with the same conscience that caused Adolf Hitler to get into the White House? I just don't understand that. And then there was, of course, shafting Bernie out of the election. Bernie got more shafted than a newly discovered California gold mine would be, if one were discovered. Bernie, the integrity of that primary, Democratic primary election was more penetrated than Jenna Jameson has been in her illustrious career on and off the porn set. Even off, if you get inside, Bernie got more, just violated in that election than the victim of prison gang rape. Seriously. And then we get to Hillary's criminality. That woman had more criminal scandals than the amount of hamburgers that McDonald's has sold since it opened, 56 years ago. Whatever. It's a good thing that Hillary, though, I have to say it, you're going to want to lynch, did not get in. I know we've got a bad deal right now, but it's good that she didn't get in a way. Because B, for the fact, A, that she kills every witness about to testify to her foul violations of the Espionage Act, for example, and public server emails, divulging national secrets, neglecting 4 diplomats' security so they died, they got killed. Let's face it, they got killed. All this stuff, selling uranium to the Russians while she was Secretary of State for fat foundation cash. Because she kills all the witnesses to this stuff that are about to testify, and due to the fact that pretty soon through WikiLeaks, we're all going to be aware of all of her crap, and all thereby witnesses, she'd have to kill and be in a position to kill all 375 million of us, citizens in America. So I'm glad, it's relieving to me that she didn't achieve that status. She just wasn't a likable person. During the campaign trail, she slipped and fell. One of her, how surprising that is. And 2 Secret Service agents came over to her, one on each arm, these big burly killers, and tried to lift her, and they couldn't do it. Tried to lift her again, they couldn't do it. Tried to lift her again, couldn't do it. She looks up at them, how she is. She says, "You're pathetic. I'm going to make sure both of you pansies are fired. What kind of, you're big, so you can't even lift me, a 150-pound woman?" And one of the agents leans over to her and says, "Listen, lady, it would have been a lot easier if you didn't have that big chip on your shoulder." Anyway, and then there's the kind of morons that voted for Trump. Really, I never thought anything could almost make me more ashamed of being white than Adolf Hitler and people like Slobodan Milosevic, and the Kardashians and Jenners, But then there came Donald Trump supporters, all white male. Here's a man who didn't even know that Scotland was still in the European Union common market. This the European Union. Oh, God, it's going to be so terrific, and I'm not going to take your Social Security. I wouldn't do that. I'm not a typical Republican. No, it's going to be so terrific at Trump presidency. I'm going to wait till I'm in, like I just got voted in, before I tell you that I'm going to privatize your Social Security and let some arrogant, corrupt, thieving, begrudging private company steal your Social Security, and get a kickback from all the money they saved our federal government. It's going to be terrific. I'm going to drop your business tax 20% and raise your individual tax by that much. I mean, like you couldn't predict that? White people are stupid. They're really idiots. I said that. I could kill people in the street and they'd still vote for me. What a brilliant country. But you know what? It's a good thing Trump got in. I know you're going to lynch me for this, but hear me out. Here's the thing. It's unified people. Blacks and Latinos had an historical, murderous hatred for some inexplicable reason, jealousy, trying to fight to not to be the lowest end of the socioeconomic totem pole, the most disadvantaged, victimized. I don't know what it was, but it was so bad that the Crips and Bloods on the black side would stop stabbing each other to go beat up on an errant Mexican that just, in other words, happened by on the street. But now these two groups, Hispanic and Afro-Americans, are united. They have just a running friendly bet who's going to be the first to knock off Donald Trump. And say that 10 times, to knock off Donald Trump, to knock off Donald Trump, to knock off Donald Trump. And it becomes a mantra that God will listen to, because anyway, what else? Last thing, I am, Donald Trump, though, how bad he is. He's the first person to be elected president as a lame duck before he even served one day in office. And here's the thing, but there's one good, really personal thing. I've been unemployable for years. There's a lot of age discrimination. I decided how I can make money and climb out of this multiple hardship of just decimating, situationally destructive poverty that I'm in. I'm going to open up a chain of coffee shops in honor of Trump's election, okay, called Grounds for Impeachment. Thank you all very much. I'm Lee G. Kushner. You're not, and you should be thankful for that, because otherwise your brains would be as painfully twisted, convoluted as mine are.